Okay, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I think I'm back. There was a slight little glitch there. I was looking at my statue or my face. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome tonight for another session of Talk and Sip this Saturday night. And I just want to make sure that I can be heard um, here at the same time. Let me just see something. Yep. Let me just test a little thing here at the same time. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. So that is fantastic. And that is good. So the most important thing is that I can be heard. Um, and that is one of the key things. I can be heard. Yep. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a Saturday night. It's the 22nd of April 2022, and welcome to another session of Talk and Sip. And always look forward to any form of engagement as much as possible to look at different topics. Yeah. And want to thank those who are coming in from on Facebook, those on YouTube, and those also on Instagram as well. And as for the Instagram, it's just going to be for a short period of time where we just start to encourage persons to just move over onto the YouTube as well. And yeah, and see how it goes. We try to go on until 2 hours, maybe less than that. Try to maybe reduce the time from that. But anyway, wonderful. Well, listen, last week we had Professor Rosalie Hamilton, and the main topic was regarding the new constitution, or the committee getting this constitution in place for Jamaica, as Jamaica is on a quest to remove the King of England as the final, as the head of state. And that should have happened long time ago, but nevertheless, still they're going through the process of that. And the world program was in discussion with that, and how can Jamaicans somewhat feel a part of the whole process. And what we were talking about is how Jamaicans feel a part of the process, and how that the organization that they had that could assist persons as well. So we'll touch on that at some point later today, all being well. We'll touch on that, and hopefully to see who comes on as well, because I believe it is a very important topic. I believe it is something very crucial. I believe in 1962 or 1961, when they were getting that process and referendum, one was just getting into that whole era of being free and getting into that zone there that many people didn't understand properly what was happening. And the shapers of the constitution at that time, which I believe was in the backside of some office in Westminster, that shaped it and handed it to Jamaica. So I believe that this is an opportune time for Jamaicans all over the world, and especially in Jamaica, the 2.28 million, to somehow have a fundamental say into how this can be done. And that is so very important as much as possible. We're going to have the King of England is going to be sworn in at some point, the coronation of King Charles. And of course, many people in the UK look at that as another way of having another, what can I say, bank holiday. So that's going to be a bank holiday over here for the UK. For that, many people looking forward to it. Many people not looking forward to it as well. And I believe they're going to be having some sort of functions, especially in Jamaica, after that, in talking about it. But hey, before I go, I completely forgot. Talk and Sip. This is Saturday night. And what I did tonight, I made a drink, and this is a combination of different juices. I like to blend my own. I call it Otrius on the rocks. Otrius on the rocks because I'm from Otrius, so I created it straight out of Ochi. And this is good. I like the natural drink as well. And of course, I have my water and a dash of wine, if anything. But I don't think I'll touch the wine, but just for cosmetic purposes there. And it's a bottle of Merlot there at the same time. And always have my sparkling water. Never forget your water. You know, the health consciousness is very important. One has got to be very health conscious and health aware at this time. And one of the things that I do a lot is I walk in the park regular. And when I walk in the park, it's very refreshing, and I encourage people to do as well. Looks delicious. Yeah, definitely, Bockarie. It looks delicious. Well, make sure you, when you come on, you have your own special one as well. But I like to get into the park, and I like to somewhat, what should I say? I call it the zone of breaking down all differences when one is in the park, breaking down all differences. And, there are different racial elements. There are different animal element whereby you have dogs where you got to actually understand, and I'm learning to understand certain things regarding animals, learning certain things about birds. But the most important thing, what it does, it actually shows you how adaptable one can be and how we can learn about God's creation, because I think that is one of the most powerful things. And today my topic when I was in the park was about seizing the moment. And hence the reason I put it up there: seize the moment. Because the moment, as I said, the moment went. As I said, the time went. I mean to say that when we have on the present, it's just gonna go eventually. But what you're doing at the same time by the present is building the future. Building the future, which is so important. And it's the reason why I said seize the moment. As a people, build for the future. As a people, build for the future. And one of the things that I'm going to have tonight, I'm going to have my colleague Bockarie Jombor from the United States, and we're going to talk about how the same concept there, which I said, build for the future, and talk about sow your seed, watch it grows, and we're going to talk about that. Bockarie Jombor is a serial entrepreneur, and always looking out how we can actually build his community, because many a time, sometimes we want to build others, but we do not want to build ourselves. And even when I'm in the park these days, one of the things that I do is, as much as possible, I try to not to wear any sort of hats, any sort of shirt with any sort of branding for anything like any Adidas, anything like Nike or whatever, because I believe that we should be actually sharing ourselves and building ourselves as much as possible. And as a result of that, I've created my own shirt line. I've created my own sort of walking line. So you're gonna have walk and talk motivational moments. That is to build, and then portion of that will give to some sort of foundation or so. I think that is so important. And I think at this time, I believe we should be in a position where we build, not just talk about how the supremacists and all those guys can somewhat take over and control and the power they have. But I believe if we spend time in building our power, building our resource, building our resolve, then I believe we become, as what I say, untouchable. So I'm going to bring in Bockarie Jombor. We're going to get the conversation going right now. Hey, how are you doing, buddy?
How you doing, my friend? Doing well, thank you.
I'm good, man. I'm cool in the Malibu, you know what I mean? And just drinking some, it has apple in it, it has orange in it, it has raspberry in it. And,
Wow, that sounds delicious, man.
well, Well, it doesn't just sound delicious; it is delicious. We're
I got
drinking
my
water.
good trusty spring water.
Well, listen. We call that crystal punch in Jamaica. Crystal punch.
Yes, yes, Crystal
And
Punch.
I know you went to Jamaica because I see you shining in
Yeah,
Jamaica.
man.
At some point,
Culinary, you know.
I was feeling a bit jealous. You know what I mean? And I have to put on my flash for you. You know what I mean? I was feeling a bit jealous because I was saying it's like you were sort of you're there in Ochi, you're there in my town, man. And at some point, you know,
Yes, Montego Bay.
Montego, and you're in Montego Bay as well. You know.
Yes,
And how did you enjoy Jamaica there, Bockarie?
I absolutely loved it. Of
Mm,
course, I felt at home because it is home, because that's where our people is at. So it was wonderful to actually experience our culture in
mm,
our country, you know. And that's actually the first time I've, on my own dollar, have went to another country internationally, on my own dollar. And the first one I went to, I'm proud to say, is our own country,
mm.
which is Jamaica. So I'm definitely proud of myself and my wife as well on that one.
Yeah. Why do you say your own country? It's very interesting.
Well, because it's our people. I understand
Mm,
that we're one, and
yeah.
and I don't see us any different from one another, even though we may come from different tribes. You know, we're still one. African
Mm,
people are one. So that's the way I see it. I have a pan-African view on that.
mm,
I don't see that we're separate from each other, even though some of our cultures may differ.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you look at the root of it all, you know, we are all African. That's just the bottom line.
Well, there's a song that I don't know if it was Bonnie Wailer, Peter Tosh, or Culture. One of them sing that song. No matter where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African.
That's right. That's right.
And that is like what
Touche.
and that is like what should I say, the base of anything, the foundation and the essence of it, which is so very important, you know. Just remind us, where in the States are you again, Bockarie?
Well, I'm actually located in Tennessee, but I'm originally from Rochester, New York, where I was born and
Mm,
raised at.
yeah. Yeah, okay. And tell us, because one of the things which I have there, and I know you have been a friend of the show. We have done walk and talk together,
Yes.
done all these
Yes.
different things together. We keep in touch with each other.
Yes,
We
we
might
do.
not say hi to each other sometime, but we follow each other. Uh, well, you call yourself a serial entrepreneur,
Yes,
serial
that's correct.
entrepreneur,
Hmm.
and I want you to get into that bit there before we get on to the main course. The serial entrepreneur, as so,
Hmm.
why being a serial entrepreneur, and why?
Okay, because when you look at multi-millionaire, of course, depending on what occupation that you're in,
Mm,
you know, like football players, you know, athletes, you know, they're millionaires. You know, they really don't have to do multiple things. They're
yes.
millionaires off of one contract. But you know, for most of us, you know, we have to have multiple streams of income in order for us to be able to build a seven-figure business, in order for us to be able to create and to transfer wealth. So
Mm,
that's the reason why my wife and I, we went on the serial entrepreneur venture in order for us to do exactly that. Um, Cooperative economics, right? How can you participate in that when you
yeah.
don't have economics? You know, so it can't be cooperative economics if no one has the resources. So, you know, we wanted to ensure that we take care of ourselves first, because we can't divide what we don't have.
Mm,
You know, we can't multiply what we don't have. You know, so I
mm,
recognize I can't help my people if I can't help myself.
yes.
You know,
Yes.
so we went that route, not only just for us personally, but for us as a collective. And that's the reason why I went the serial entrepreneur route.
And that is coming from the whole aspect of being in the army as well.
Well, I'm a retired Marine,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
no, that has nothing to do with it at all
But
whatsoever.
it's still built a discipline. It's still built a discipline.
No, it don't have nothing to do with it, man. I cannot contribute my discipline to the military, because that would be disrespectful to my elders and my family.
Mm,
I'm the man I am today because of the way my elders raised me. Before I went into the military, I already had structure. I didn't need structure, when I went into the military.
So
So
what's
it was
so,
my
so what?
grandfather,
Yeah,
my grandmother, my aunties, and my uncles that groomed me to be the man I am today. So all praises be for my elders and my family.
let's say this. So what you're actually trying to say is that you brought something to the military.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, no doubt about it. The divine put the leadership in me. I
Yeah.
can't take any credit for that because I'm divinely blessed to do what I'm doing.
Yes.
Everybody can't do what I do, and I fully understand that. That's the reason why everybody's not in a position of leadership, because everybody is not chosen to do that. So my gift is from the supreme creator.
Yes. 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 Now let's talk about this concept, because you're talking about Sierra Leone. Gives sow your seed and watch it grow, and
Yes,
you're
yes.
tapping it. Oh, by the way, a colleague online just mentioned that the song was by Peter Tosh, the song I was talking about. Whether
Oh,
you're a
okay,
black
Peter
man,
Tosh.
you're African. Yeah, Peter Tosh. Or there's a song which
Peter
was sing
Tosh.
years ago, I think, by Rally Around the Flag, rally around the red, gold, black and green. You're Jamaican, so you know them scorers, stuff like that.
Well, actually, on Monday, but I feel you though. I feel you. I'm
Yeah.
Monday, man. My ancestors come from Sierra Leone. That's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I'm also Gullah Geechee.
Yes.
My ancestors do come from the Georgia area, the South Carolina area.
Mm,
So I found that out. I did my African ancestry DNA test, and I found out exactly what I am and what country I come from. Because my elders didn't know. Unfortunately, we all know
mm,
the reason why. And I'm also a Kele. On my Baba side, my father's side comes
yeah.
from Gabon,
Yeah.
and that's my roots, man.
Okay. Okay. That's good. So this whole concept now, which you're talking about with Gile, Gile, yeah, my God, the Gile Liene, if that
Okay. Oh,
Gula
you talking about
Gula,
Sierra Leone? You talking
yeah,
about
Gula,
the
yeah,
Gullah
the sixth annual
Nation of
schools and
North America?
yeah, seeds fundraiser launching. You know.
Yes, that's what I'm a part of. I'm a chief elder. I sit on the seat of the board for the development department, which is headed by Chief Folday and
Mm,
his beautiful wife, Sister Malinke.
yes.
And they're the ones who actually founded the organization in the 2000s. And so the focus is on us gathering together the resources in order for us to be able to grow our own food,
Mm,
agriculturally, because those who feed you are the ones that control you. So, we have to take control of our own resources. So it's for equipment, it's for the actual seeds, it's for
mm,
the actual land, in order for our people to be self-sufficient. So we're just looking for others to partner with us, those who have Pan-African mind, that we're one, and want to contribute to help us to be able to take care of our people.
mm,
We have to do it together. Some of us are not as fortunate as others. And I believe that those of us who are blessed, we are blessed to be a blessing. And so, that's the reason why we're soliciting for those who would like to help our people to help ourselves, so we can do so. Because unfortunately, the government, as we
mm,
all know, is the politicians, of course, they're not in their right minds. So we have to take control of it ourselves as the people. And we can't sit there and wait on them to do for us. We must do for ourselves. So with that being said, for those who can afford to do so and would like to help us to do that, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll send you the information for you to be able to contribute to the Seeds and Tools program.
when you just mentioned about like waiting on politicians and not waiting on politicians to get to do things, um,
Yes.
there are two sides to it, whereby one can be involved with the political scenario,
Mm-hmm.
or one can just, I wouldn't, is the right word to say be against it, or would you say it is important to get involved or to engage to make a difference? What would you say about that?
Well, I personally am a person that do believe that we do need to get involved in political power. And there's
Mm.
a proverb that says, when the wicked rule, the people mourn, but when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. That being said, I believe it is critical that we get engaged for those of us who have our people's best interests at heart,
Yeah.
for us to get engaged. I really don't believe that just because they look like us, and by now all of us should have experienced that along the way, seeing sellouts, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Um, that don't really have our best interests at heart, that's more concerned about their own agenda, them getting more money and them getting what they want, and helping our enemy to continue to destroy us. But nevertheless, uh, we need people in that seat, because leadership writes policy in the political world. In the
Yes.
United States of America, the governors write the state constitution. Okay, the mayors, the commissioners, the senators,
Yes.
the DA, all right, the judges, the
Mm.
sheriffs, okay, all of these people matter. And history tells us as a people that, again, when the wicked rule, the people mourn. So you can't have an unjust person in a position of justice and expect for justice to be served. That's just not logical. That makes no sense.
The interesting thing you said a while ago is that today I was actually doing a teaching with my fellow brethren, and the memory verse was this: when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear it rule, the people mourn. Proverbs 29, verse 2.
That's it.
That's exactly what you just said a while ago.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's exactly where I got it from.
Yeah. So that means to say that one has got to somehow um be involved in the process and don't just wait for things to happen, but be proactive.
That's right. And some people are discouraged because it goes back to, again, the corrupt people that's in the position of power. It's not that the system doesn't work. It works when you have the right person working it, right?
Yes.
If you have somebody who has a system
Mm.
and they don't know how to operate the system,
Yes.
is it that, does it mean there's something wrong with the system, or is it that the person don't know how to operate it? So it's not that the system doesn't work. You have policies in place, but the problem is you have unjust people that's in position of power. When somebody does injustice, what they do is that they support the person that is on their side, that wants to continue to systemically persecute us and keep us under
Down.
their reign. And
Yes.
that's just the reality. They don't want us to be free, man. Why would your enemy want you to be free?
Mm.
It don't make any sense. Their whole agenda is to enslave us,
Or the
right?
next one is, why would you go to your enemy for a leg up?
Right.
or
It,
for
it, it it
assistance?
makes no sense. And some of us, we act so surprised when you have corrupt people in power, like as if though historically we don't have any experience with that. How could you expect somebody that's unjust to be just? It's like, you're expecting apple juice to come out of a pineapple.
Mm.
What's inside of a person is going to come out of them. So if they're corrupt, they have a corrupt heart. You can't expect righteousness to come out of a wicked person. It just don't make sense. And then on top of that, why are you wasting your breath talking to a person who don't care?
Mm.
So that it's like talking to a wall. So if they don't care, you know what that means? That means that, okay, we have to take it in our own hands like our ancestors did. Okay. And when they brought all their resources together and they said, okay, we're going to make this happen. We're going to boycott. We're not going to tolerate this. And when
Mm.
our ancestors boycotted for real, by the way,
Yeah. Yeah.
not this temporary thing, that some people do like it's a fad, they understood this. They walked. They actually sacrificed. You know, our ancestors brought their resources together, but they recognize, okay, we may not have came over here on the same boat, but when it comes to uh oppression of our people, we're all in the same boat. And they recognize that.
Yeah. So what do you say then that
Mhm,
in light of countries like you went to the Caribbean, you went to
mhm,
Jamaica,
mhm,
and there's a level of ownership of
mhm,
Jamaica as yours,
mhm,
Africa's yours, the different Caribbean countries as yours.
mhm.
There's such a clear need for us to be wise and to be smart and to be strategically working together.
That's right.
You
That's
know?
the reason why I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to put the tools and seeds, program on the table, because we know we can't do it by ourselves. That's
Yeah.
impossible. And the
Mm.
African proverb tell us that, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go further, you go together.
Yes.
And it's a Swahili word that says Nguvu Pamoja. That means stronger together.
Mm.
And we have to get back to that concept. And the reason why we keep losing is because we have an individual mentality.
Mm.
That's the reason. A lot of us are off just to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And you can't, okay, if you got 5 people that's trying to fight you and there's only one of you, let me know how that go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how it is if you're trying to fight against an enemy that's trying
Mm.
to take you over. This is the reason why all the countries in Africa need to come together. This is the reason why all African people throughout the diaspora need to come together. We
Uh,
have been brainwashed to believe that we are one another's enemy. And even over in Africa historically, some of us did sell one another into slavery. That's a fact.
mm.
It's a historical fact. We need to stop running away from it. Okay, the woman king, it's a true story about what happened over there.
Mm.
You
Mm.
understand? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So we have to let go, and make peace, because while we're fighting, our enemy is stabbing us all in the back
Mm.
and destroying all of us while we're so busy fighting each other. And we got to
Yeah.
wake up and recognize we can't win when you got internal attacks and then you got external
Mm.
attacks. How are you going to win like that?
Mm.
How are you going to win when you got an enemy in the front of you, in the back of you, in the side of you, and you don't
Yeah.
have nowhere to go?
Yes. 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 I want to bring in Lester. You met Lester who came in before some
Yes.
time
How you
ago.
doing, brother?
Yeah.
Hey, brother, how are you doing? Great conversation, man.
He came in a while ago with 2 persons, and I didn't understand. It was like he was a clone or so. I saw 2 persons came up, and I know these white guys are trying to be God, and creating clones. I didn't know. I thought it was a clone, it's one. How are you, Lester? Good evening.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I think it was very important to bring in Bockarie Jombor at this time, and to look at one of the key ways how, because sometimes it look like even nations are split, which are predominantly black, are split between each other because of political lines, and we're missing out on the most important thing, that we really need to, as much as possible, work together at this time, and but let's you just come in and say what you're saying. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, that's very, very important because what we are seeing now, even in the Caribbean states, we are seeing more Caribbean states pushing to have collaboration and trade
Mm.
with African nations.
Yeah.
And also, what we are seeing is that there's a lot of black citizens in the UK and in Europe who are seeking to do business to live in Africa. I have,
Yeah.
quite a lot of friends who are um, at home when they go to Ghana or Nigeria or the Congo or Sierra Leone. So we're seeing greater acceptance and collaboration with states,
Yeah.
black states with Africa, but we're also seeing individuals and families moving, to Africa because it's like they 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 have everything there,
Mm.
and more information on Africa is available now, like since the last 10, 12 years, that it's not as terrible as it was advertised for decades, to be. And
Mm.
the resources, remember, Europeans have and is still um monopolizing the resources of Africa for their use. And we have not even started to do that for our use. I mean, like African states are now starting to trade in their own currency.
Yes.
So we have seen a step where they are moving to have greater collaborations with each other. I mean, as black nations with each other.
Yes. No, that's very important, and I believe that in a way that countries may need to take some of these leaf out of their books. Bockarie, I think you're muted. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
'cause I didn't want to interfere.
Yeah.
Let
That's all
brother
right.
talk.
That's all right. Well, Lester was just saying a while ago was in regards to countries are seeking as much as possible to work together,
Mhm.
or they are waking up. Waking
Yes,
up. It's like
yes.
there's a waking up which is happening, and it's even with young people and leaders around. Young people are now asking questions. The advent of TikTok is actually showing on these social media, showing that people are no more just accepting things. They're asking questions, some challenging questions at this time. And you know what? We are in the position where we're deemed to be elders. I say
Oh yeah,
elders because
yeah, definitely.
I know some people like to shave off that doesn't show that they have beard or something like that. Am I echoing? I hear look echo.
Yes, yes, I hear it too.
1, 2, 3.
Not no
1, 2
more.
is gone. Yes. Yeah, the echo, not the echo, but the white beard. I know Lester got some, and I know, they like to hide. They like to they like to hide these.
Clean shaves.
The silver fox. You know what I mean?
Yes, man. I got a couple poking out too, man.
Yeah, it shows that we're deemed as elders. We're deemed as elders, and if we don't actually capitalize on these things and to empower and to shape our young minds are going to grow up and resent us to the point that they now recognize and see these things, and we didn't help them, we didn't encourage them.
Silburn.
Yeah.
Can I ask Bockarie a question?
Yeah.
Totally unrelated to what you just said, but
Yeah.
I was listening before I came on earlier, and you visited Jamaica recently.
Hmm.
As a black man that grew up in a different jurisdiction,
Hmm.
what is your overall view of the island, the country? What was your experience, and what is your view of what you have seen, economic wise, tourist wise, and the people, food, everything? What is your overall view?
From what I experienced, good brother, it was absolutely phenomenal. Because the hotel that I stayed in, the information that I got was that they couldn't even sell fruit that was not actually grown by the locals. So that was very impressive. And to see all of our people as entrepreneurs, it was mind blowing, man. I mean, honest with you, brother, I had to shake myself, if you will, because it felt like a dream. I was like, wow, like everywhere I turned, it was us. I was just so comfortable. Wasn't nobody looking at me like, what you doing here? Like, you don't belong here. It was like, hey, brother, we got this right here. You want to buy this? It was just family, man. It was business. It was love, brother. It was like Bob Marley said, peace and blessings be upon him. One love, man. It was that one love, like Bob Marley talked about, man. And I'm looking so forward to returning. It was so peaceful, man.
Yeah.
Hope that answers your question.
Yes. Because I mean, I live in Europe. I live in the Netherlands, and it is a coming here 9 years ago was a whole culture shock, and to see and when I visited Jamaica recently last year, when I went back home, to see major changes and major development, I felt proud. But one of the things that I'm most proud about is that we control our affairs. We totally, we're the government, we are the local government, we're the police, we're the municipality, we're the street guy, we are, the electrician, everything. And living in Europe, you see a great segregation of these things. So like certain persons of color can only go to a particular level. When you go above that level, it's all white, you know and not to say that persons of color is not educated or not have the skill to go there. It's just what it is. So when you go to an island state like Barbados or Antigua or Jamaica, you see us, you see this at all levels, and you say, wow, we can do it, because the narrative is that we can't, and so for you as an American to come and see that, because like where you're from, it's different, you know and so like for us, it is good that persons like you visit and can take back the message and say, hey, I've been to a place where it is we're on total control, and it's all
running things. Yeah.
yeah, you can go there, and it's love. Business is you can do business, you can do banking, you can do um entertainment, whatever you want.
Bockarie, there's something though that you said. You saw all the positives in Jamaica.
Yes, there
Isn't it?
was a negative. I can't lie about that.
Yeah.
When I heard that they called their different areas parishes, and I know that is a Eurasian thing, because parishes, the Catholic churches, the different temples, the jurisdictions, they call them parishes. So when he said that, I was like, that's crazy. Like that's a Eurasian thing. But I also know the history of Jamaica. I also know that our people fought for their liberation. I know that the Maroons fought. You know what I'm saying? I know that our people fought over there, which they don't really want us to know about. But I know our people over there didn't just lay down and just let them walk all over us like we're taught. And that me being Mende, if you see the movie Amistad, that's why I'm so proud. So when he said I was American, I'm like, I'm not American, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm Mende. I'm not American. My
give us free. Give us
brought.
free. Yeah.
Yeah, my ancestors were just brought here. It's like, for instance, if an Asian person was taken to, Jamaica, they're not Jamaican. You know what I'm saying? I was just born here by default.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, how my ancestors fought, and that's a true story too about, what happened to Amistad. And that was actually my people. That's actually what I am. I'm Mende. You know what I'm saying? So, my ancestors fought. So we would never see that. We would never see that if we never fight for that. You know what I'm saying? And first of all, I have to say this. The truth is, this is not really our land. The truth is, it's the natives' land that were here before our ancestors was brought here. You see what I'm saying? So our people actually are here by default. My true land, homeland, is Sierra Leone and Gabon. It's not really here. You know what I'm saying? But because we helped to build this country, our ancestors' sweat and blood and tears and their labor. Yeah. That's why we have our claim, because we did literally help to build this country and the ecosystem in this country. You understand?
And was at the front line of the war also.
Pardon?
and was at the front line of the war also.
Yeah, you know, and sad to say that some of them were proud to die. I don't know why. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know, by the way that we was treated.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, proud of what? For what? I mean, they still looked at you as the N-word.
Exactly.
Right? You know, so even our ancestors, unfortunately, was brainwashed to the point where they just wanted their blessing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not that dude.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I never have. Fortunately, I was raised in a family where I was proud to be raised to be proud to be African.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I've never been ashamed of being African, man. Even what they showed us on these lies on TV, like all Africa with flies and the pot belly, our people that were sick and diseased and stuff like that. I still wasn't ashamed.
Yeah.
You know what I thought? Where's that number at so I could send money to my people? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And I've been like this since I was young, man. I got kicked out of class because I rebelled to watch Roots. I said, why are you always showing us that we're slaves? And I was a teenager in high school, man. And I literally got kicked out of class.
That is so interesting what you're saying, because I always talk about identity. Identity is a key factor, because once you know who you are, I always say that you become unstoppable. Nobody can actually take that from you because you know what you know. But when other people start to name you and say you are what you are, then there's a different thing. But what you just say, Bockarie, and you're homing onto a lot of things. You're homing onto Africa. You're homing onto your base. Do you think that, like in the Caribbean, okay, you know, and even some Americans, they would say, "I'm not African, man. I'm from Grenada. I'm not African. I'm Jamaican. I'm not African. I'm American." You know, do you think that is something that separates and is also the key? I would say the weak link, because the Asians will always say, "I'm an Asian." The Jews will always say, "I'm a Jews." And the Chinese will always say they're Chinese, and the Japanese will always say Japanese. But the black man will always say sometimes, "Oh, I'm mixed with Scottish, I'm mixed with Irish," and they're out of many one people, but not claiming that fundamental roots of Africa as that base, as that identity factor, as that coming together. Do you think that's one of the weak links? And unless I can respond after as well, after you say.
Absolutely. It was designed that way. You know, we weren't designed to be in our right mind. We was designed to be out of our mind. And that's what's wrong with us. You know what I'm saying? They know the power of the mind.
Yeah.
The mind is powerful, man. Anybody that lacks low self-esteem is mental. Anybody that does not have self-confidence is mental. And self-confidence is not only an individual thing. Self-confidence is also in your ethnicity. And so many times we just limit it to just individuality. But it's really about us as a collective, right? You know, so the reason why we think that way is because we've been colonized. Prior to our interaction with the colonizer, we never had an issue with who and what we are. We never had no issue with that. We never looked at ourselves and hated ourselves. We never ran away from our spirituality. We never ran away from our cultural names. And oh, by the way, my name, Bockarie Jombor, is my legal name. It's not just the name on Facebook, on social media. I literally legally changed my name. My name was Alton D. Walden III. That is a Eurasian name.
I remember that name.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when I found out my actual ethnicity, I renounced that name because I know that was the name that was given to us by the ones who colonized us. Not my slave master. They're not my master. They're not my master. We need to stop saying that. They are not our masters. You understand? You know, that was a name given to my ancestors by the colonizer. And there was no way that me knowing That name was given to us to brand us as a sense of ownership, like Nike and Adidas. When you see that symbol, you know it belongs to that company. Nah, man, no. You know, even that within itself is a problem. You know, we have a problem like right now. I put this on intentionally, African attire. I put it on intentionally because we even have a problem with that. Why? Oh, they're not gonna. Who is they?
Yeah.
Who is they? I can't wear my hair like this because they. Who is the they?
Who is they? Who is the they?
I'm gonna leave it at that so brother can talk.
Yes, Lester.
All right. I'm glad that you even coined the question that way, Silburn, because Black people are the only people that are not readily identifiable by a landmass. Only people. So, like, if you're in Norway and you see a Black man, you don't automatically say that's an African, you know. But if you're in Finland and you see a Chinese man, you automatically say Chinese. So you identify him with a landmass, right? And so they will ask you where you're from. You're not going to ask an Asian man where he's from because you readily identify him with a landmass. So they took our identity from us, right? They took our history and our education from us. Because even a lot of the things that they say, Greek philosopher Pythagoras or Greek philosopher this, they went to Kemet and learned these things. It's not originally from Greece, you know. They learn all these things from us, but they don't give us the credit. So we did not learn that our people were great people before slavery. And even during slavery, we accomplished great things. And when you look at a lot of things, and it's all about education. It comes down to simple education. Like the Washington Monument was literally seen in Africa and replicated in Washington, you know, and even the round pillars that they see that they call it European design. It's not. They took all these things from Africa, but we don't know that we're not educated because we learn European history, we learn American history, but we don't learn African history. So when you see persons operate in a particular way in not in accordance to one's development as a African, as a Black man, right? You can't blame that person wholesalely because they are not operating with full information.
And that's a key point. Sorry, I don't know if I break it.
Go ahead.
That's a key point you mentioned. Lack of information.
Yes.
You can't blame them. So therefore, there's that education bit that needs to go. I'm mindful that Bockarie need to go. Yes, am I correct?
I meant to tell you, I'm good. I already eaten. So my good friend, I can hang with you, brothers, a little longer if need be, my brother. If you need be.
Now, I want to tidy up that bit there. Key point what Lester mentioned there, and key information there. We're gonna touch back on it in a way about the landmass, which other nationals identify themselves, and somehow one can see it has somewhat becomes their strength. And what we are seeing many times is that nations has come like to the UK and somehow have moved ahead of even the Black community, which was here even before. And at the same time, even nations who are also Black, they are saying has moved ahead. And it's unfortunate that the Black community hasn't come together to say that they are one. Unlike you'll have the Asians will come together as one, isn't it? The Jews will come together as one, and stuff like that. But Bockarie, I want to just tidy up the bit that you spoke about earlier today, so I don't forget it really. And it is the Gullia Leon, the 6th annual tool and seed fundraiser launching. Give,
Yes.
sow your seed, watch it grow.
Hmm.
What you say, we are thrilled to announce the launch of our 6th annual tools and seed fundraiser, an
Yes.
initiative aimed at supporting our tools and seed farmers assistance project in Sierra Leone. And our
Yes.
mission has always been to combat food insecurity in rural communities by providing the necessary resources to empower farmers and enhance their agricultural productivity. What I pick up from here, it is something which is so crucial in our country, is about agriculture. Because that's what I see as one of the key factors there, agriculture and the land. And so I just want you to sort of
Hmm.
complete on this whole project properly,
Hmm.
and how people can assist, if anything, as well.
Yes.
Mm.
Brother and sister, if you would like to assist, please, that's my information right there, Bockarie, Jombor.com. But those who are interested, you can email me. All my contact information is there, my telephone number, email, all of that. You'll see my actual business information that's there. However, it'll still come directly to the email, and we'll provide you the information that you need. Okay, I'll send you the link, whatever that you need, in order for you to be able to help. Because I'm looking for more so serious inquiries for those who want to contribute to help our people to have the tools that they need, the seeds that they need, the land that we need. Okay, in order for us to be self-sufficient. So if you like to be a part of that, and you believe in what we believe in, and you believe that we should be liberated and that we should be self-sufficient, cooperative economics, that we should do for ourselves, then please reach out to me. I would love to give you the information so you can help us to do the same.
Yeah, and also one of the key thing, which I'll just read, is that at Gula Nation of North America, we believe that everyone has the power to make a positive impact in their community by supporting our tools. I mean, just I think was Lester is back. I'm sorry. Um, I'll just read it. Let me just finish that point there.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
by supporting our tools and seed fundraiser, you'll be sowing a seed that will grow into a fruitful harvest for generations to come. You know,
Mm-hmm.
join us in our efforts to combat food insecurity in Sierra Leone and empower farmers in their
Mm-hmm.
quest for a sustainable future. And when I read that, it is like, I'm gonna say, in Jamaica, we believe that everyone has the power to make a positive impact in their community by
Mm-hmm.
supporting our tool and seed fundraiser. You'll be sowing a seed that will grow into a fruitful harvest for generations to come. Join
Yes,
us in our efforts
yes,
in Grenada, in Barbados,
yes.
in different countries. You see what
International.
yeah, what I'm seeing, it's like a prototype, because
Yeah, yeah.
impacting our future, it
Mm-hmm.
is so crucial, because
Mm-hmm.
I think that many nations and many leaders have always talked about we must be able to sustain ourselves, and then years after, it's like we're still saying the same thing, because somehow there have not been that collective effort to make it happen. As we
Yeah,
just
we
spoke
don't
about.
have the resources, and that's the reason why, I teach finances as well, man. I grew up on welfare, brother.
Yes.
I wasn't this retired Marine Corps veteran that people listen to that retired at 39
Mm,
and who's now a real estate investor, a life insurance advisor,
mm,
who now is a part of an e-commerce business that yields our family six figures. I was not this guy at one time in my life, man. I
mm,
remember going to the corner store to get credit when I was younger and us standing in the welfare line. So
mm,
I get it, and we talk so much about, weaponry, but economics is a weapon.
yes.
And our enemy understands that. That's the reason why a lot of us stay in poverty. You understand? And that's the reason why a lot of people don't understand the education about wealth. It wasn't never meant for the
Mm,
poor. That's
mm,
why you understand what I'm saying? The
mm,
wealthy education was for the wealthy, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why so many of us don't know these various strategies, how to work these strategies, how to learn about our credit, how to leverage our credit and turn it into cash, and to have life insurance. You know, so when we do transition, our family will have an inheritance. However, you know, we shouldn't be sitting around waiting for our elders to leave here, because think about this. By the time our elders leave here, our children would be senior citizens too. Think about that. Right?
Yeah.
So why would they sit around and wait? They waste all their life away waiting for you to leave so they can be wealthy. And this is the reason why we teach these strategies, because none of us shouldn't have to wait for somebody to die to receive something for us to have wealth. We can build it right here, right now. And it's about education, man.
Is it because of that bad mind concept that in certain countries at times when people die, they are fighting for the deadlift?
It's a combination of stuff. The poverty that we see, our lack of resources that we see is a design. You know, like these international treaties and international trade that many brown and black countries are signature to, have very unfair trade, because like when you take the great United States, the volume of agriculture products that they produce, and then the excess and the waste that they don't want, they dump it onto third world states, right? So it's like potatoes. Jamaica grow potatoes, but it is cheaper to import potatoes from the United States than for us to grow it, reap it, transport it to the market, because the whole train line is more expensive in Jamaica. Although people are saying, but it's come from abroad. It's cheaper, right, to take these products from abroad. So when these bigger nation states dump massive amount of chicken, massive amount of noodles, massive amount of sodas and stuff, it affects the local economy, because like I don't have to be a manufacturer anymore. I can just be, you know, a distributor, which it breaks down the power of my economy, because I no longer then have a chain process of manufacturing. You know, I just receive something from the wharf and then I distribute it, but it is not my product, it is not my creation. And this is what caused now for countries now, smaller states, to not invest more in agriculture, because one of the most powerful thing of any country is to be able to feed itself, right? And many countries cannot feed itself just by how the trade is set up. So we want foreign aid in terms of medicine, right? Because we just don't have certain medication, right? But with that trade, you have to accept a certain amount of American products. So we're saying, you don't want the medicine or you want the medicine, you know? You want the military aid or you don't want the military aid. So, you know, it's a balancing act. So sometimes our people are not educated and informed enough to say, oh, our government is selling out. Not really. You know, it's not really that the government is selling out. Sometimes it's just, so if we start to trade then amongst ourselves more, to say, okay, Grenada grows spice, a lot of spice. So we don't have to buy certain spice from America. So we can trade the Grenada. But the trade don't have to be money all the while, right? We have pineapples, we have oranges, we have this. So okay, let us trade this then. We have fresh water all over Jamaica. Turks and Caicos don't have the amount of fresh water that we have. So there's education that needs to be shared and information among these small island states and Africa, and say, hey, you know what? Let us trade amongst ourselves and try to see how best we all can grow. That's one of the things, and I think that these talks now are opening up. One of my disappointment with North America, the African American community in North America, is that a lot of time they talk a good talk, you know, but they sit and black love and support black businesses, but do they support black countries? Right? These same billionaires and millionaires, do they go to Africa? There are 7 car producing nations in Africa, or maybe 13 now, right? None of them buy African made cars. Yeah, and there are luxury cars in Africa. They're good manufacturers of automobiles, and they don't buy it. They still buy European cars. They still driving the Maybachs and stuff like that.
Can I say something about that, brother? Because I live in America. First and foremost, you have to understand export and import. You just cannot bring a car from a foreign country into America. So let's be clear. It's like what you just said earlier. America has worked out things with China and Germany in order for these vehicles. Remember, these are foreign vehicles. BMW is not made in America, brother. You understand? You know, so I have to defend us on that right there. We don't. The reason why we don't have African vehicles over here is because they don't make them here, and not only that, they don't allow them here.
Allow them to go. Yeah.
All right. So I just had to be clear on that one. You know what I'm saying? That's not why we're doing that.
Okay. Well, that's very interesting there, and I guess Trump was one of those key architects at that time to say, "I'm not going to allow these guys to come in," isn't it? Isn't it, Bockarie?
Say it again, please, sir.
No, I said Trump was one of the key persons who said he's not going to allow these things to happen.
No, man, that what's going on right now is way before Trump. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's just continuing that racist agenda. That's all, you know. And a lot of people don't understand that. Okay, people think, and I have to just be very clear with this right here, because people really think that because, okay, for instance, some people who claim they look like us, they claim to be natives. Okay, some of their ancestors were, because we, you know, interracial marriages, and I'm getting ready to make a point here. I promise you that. And so they got this system where, you know, you have to go through the United Nations because they deal with human rights. Allegedly. When are we going to use the logical minds that we have to understand that America has a permanent seat on the United Nations board? I'm going to leave it at that. I want you to think, I'm going to say it again. One of the most racist. Hey, how you doing, family? That's the Bockarie group right there. I'm a part of the Bockarie movement as well.
Hey, Bockarie,
But the racists, you know, have a seat. So how can you have somebody that's supposed to be fighting for human rights, a country, but yet we're still dealing with racism, and mind you, they still had a seat during the time of the Jim Crow law.
Yes. Well. Also, what is very interesting is that what is also interesting is also one of America claim to fame. Sometimes is going around the world and telling people how to be democratic, and talking about human rights and how they should live their life, or you won't get aid. That's one of the calamity, I believe, of the West.
Yeah.
And America
and even Africa have a seat on the United Nations. But that's what we got to understand, is that we have to stop being deceived by the words and start looking at people's actions. Like when my brother just said, like, you know, some people talk the talk, but you know what? That is a good question. You know, a lot of our people, let me be clear, like the UNIA, you know what I'm saying, that Marcus Garvey founded. I'm a part of that as well. Okay. And the brother that I mentioned earlier, Chief Fode Mansoure, and his wife Malinki, they're the ones that's connecting, they're bridging the gap. They're helping people to repatriate from America back to Africa. There's another good sister I know that lives in Ghana that's from Memphis, Tennessee, who her husband is a Khan, and she is helping people to repatriate from America to Africa. So let's be clear about that. A lot of us are actually moving. I got plenty of friends that's leaving America, moving to Africa. And this is the reason why we're having this discussion. You know what I'm saying? Even Bockarie does it too. Okay, well, we are connecting, we're bridging the gap. You understand? And when you got a racist that's controlling the minds of Africans and Africans throughout the diaspora, the problem is, the reason why we're not connecting is because of those lies that is putting a wedge between us. Because some of us go to Africa and we get treated like trash, and they tell us that we're like the European, and they tell us we don't belong there.
Yeah.
You understand? And then when they come over here, we treat them like trash, and then we disclaim our African roots because we've been colonized. So colonization has caused a wedge between us all.
Yeah.
As a people, and we all have to recognize this disease called racism that has poisoned our mind, and we all must be detoxed rather from the toxic teachings of colonization. And I'll rest my mic, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna bring in the question what Mr. IC3 Black said, and it's very crucial, and it's something which I speak about a lot, having shows, but we need to formulate ideas, solutions. You all have good understanding of the problem. What is the solution? How can the solution be applied? Because one of the things that we're good at times is talking in a way, but creating the solution sometimes can be a bit far-fetched. Let's that question there, that IC3 Black Reparation Nation, I'm going to come into it after and look at some solution when we touch on to even the referendum in Jamaica and the constitution and removing the king as the head of state. But good understanding of the problem. What is the solution? How can the solution be applied? If I put that to Lester.
Well, as I said earlier, it's about education and information. You know, when you look at a lot of European states, right? When you look at a lot of American wealthy families and stuff like that, there's information and there's education amongst them where they can trace their heritage, they can trace their roots, right? That is important, you know, to know where you're coming from, to know what your lineage was about. Many of us don't know that. So there is not a pride amongst ourselves to say, you know, we can be more than just what just merely existing. So we have to have in each of our states, in our communities, in our families, in our towns, cities, it has to be direct. The mind shift has to be deliberate, and information and education, and that's where it starts from. Now, as a Bockarie said, that there's a lot of persons that are, you know, transitioning to Ghana, to Sierra Leone, to Nigeria, to these places. What happened is that people start to get information. So when you look at, if you have like I have a friend that he's from Uganda. He's my co-worker. He said to me, you can get maybe 4 times like the size of a football field. $1,000 can give you in Uganda can give you that size property, $1,000. Now, $1,000 cannot buy you any piece of property in the United States. You understand me? So if you can take that resources that you have, right, as a family, if you come together and you are a community or a group of people, you know, and say, okay, let us each donate $1,000 or £1,000 or €1,000. So imagine if it's 30 of you guys and you put $1,000 or euros pounds together, right? The great infrastructure you can build out with that amount of money. It is just unbelievable. So but we have to, in our family, start educating our children, start educating our nieces, our nephews, and say, hey, look here. It is not here in the United States or here in the United Kingdom. It is not the be all and end all. There's somewhere else that we can go, that we can have a greater impact, and we can have a greater life, that we can have a richer life, and not just rich in material stuff, but rich in living, you know, being freedom. We can dictate our future better, you know. And so these are some of the things that we have to have discussion in our churches, in our youth groups, in our schools. We have to start in our school system to say, hey, we want a particular type of thing, because when you look at how certain groups like the alphabet people are pushing their agenda to be taught in schools, or pushing their agenda to be educated amongst the children. Why aren't we as a black community pushing our agenda also to say, hey, we want our black children to be taught of our ancestry, to be taught of our land, to be taught of all the opportunities that is available. So part of the solution is education and information. Many people, and I've seen I'm wrapping up now. I've seen
Yeah.
where persons ask, people walk around college campuses or in the streets and say, "Can you name 5 African countries?"
Yeah.
And most people can't name 5 African countries. And I'm
Yes.
like, there's South Africa. How can you not
Mm.
know South Africa? But
Mm.
but but I'm saying information is a key thing that is lacking from a lot of our people about what we can do in terms of solution and creating a better future for our lives and for our future children and future generation.
So what you're actually saying right there, Lester, is, and I think you alluded to it earlier, lack of information as much as possible is like something which is strangling the community. A lack of information, which is so crucial. And I see three. One of the things which came up is that understanding of the problem, what is the solution, information, education. Now, who has that responsibility then? Who should be responsible to be teaching our people? Because every time you got Black History Month or so, February in the USA, October, everybody get outside and everybody start to say, we need to do this. We need to get the state to teach our people this. But shouldn't we be the one that is teaching our people, pulling together? Bockarie?
Oh man, you already answered your own question. Yes, it does start at home, and that's what we teach. I taught my son, once I found out exactly what I am, I literally shared it with my whole family. I'm talking about my grandmother, my aunties. When I found out that I'm Mende, I told them because it's on my grandmother's side. My grandmother didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm the one that has that passion. That means that I was chosen to share that with my family. Everybody, all of us can participate, and do this. It starts at home. But see, first, it starts in the mind. And we already talked about education, but education don't change nothing. Why do I say that? It's because it takes more than education. You have to execute what you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can know all day, but if you don't do nothing with what you know, then we're still going to be in the same dilapidated state.
So the
Another
application is very
solution to
crucial.
our problem is that we have to reject that which is causing us to self-destruct. I'm going to say it again. We have to reject that which causes us to self-destruct. What am I talking about? We need to stop embracing gangster rap. We need to stop embracing those things that causes us to look at ourselves in a derogatory way. We need to stop embracing the N word. Okay. We don't like it when a racist person calls us that. It's not a name of endearment, and it don't mean negas. We need to stop that. So see, that's why education is so important, because you even have some teachers that's well respected, and I'm not going to throw any names out there. They know who they are. You keep justifying using that N word, and you're lying, because negas is a Ethiopian word for king.
Yeah.
What they call us has nothing to do with being a king.
No.
And we need to stop that, because the ones who colonized us know who the king is. I'm a former military person. You know who you take out? The leadership.
Yep.
Because when you take out the leadership, then you can disband the rest of them.
Yep.
They know exactly who the king and the queen was. How? Because they got inside information to identify them, to know. So they knew that all the people wasn't kings and queens. In our culture, everybody don't carry that name. We just say that as a name of endearment. But the reality is, That's just a little education, just a little touch, because that word don't mean that. You see,
True.
and you got our sisters embracing the B word. Why? Because in the lyrical content, in the songs, they're pushing that. Even over in Africa,
it's going over there now.
it's going
Yep.
on over there now.
Yep.
Because why? They're connecting with Africans in America. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, they're being tainted because some of them look up to us so much because they feel like, oh, we're in the land of the wealthy and everybody just rich over here. Well, those of us who grew up in the inner city, in the so-called hood like me, know that's just not the case.
True, yeah.
You know, and they praise us and they want to be like us. Oh, they try to rap and do all this. But unfortunately, they're being tainted by these corrupted ways that we have. And we gotta get mentally free from these things that causes us to self-destruct. It starts at home. And that's a problem right there. No African person should be complaining about the stuff. Do you know how embarrassing that is? When you're complaining about what's not being taught at school, why don't you know, Mom? Why don't you know, Dad? Why don't you know your history? Why are you keep continuously depending on the one that has enslaved us?
To teach you.
It don't make no sense.
Or to free you.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's sad. I don't get mad. It's sad when we keep looking to the same one that incarcerated us to liberate us. And that's how you know that we're enslaved, because it doesn't make any sense to look up to someone who agenda is to keep you mentally incarcerated, because we know that you can't be free if you're mentally incarcerated. I'm gonna leave it there.
You know, funny thing, when you brought up the gangster rap, there's a gentleman that I think he's one of he's the owner or part owner of the largest group of radio stations in America. And he was asked a question once that would you allow a song promoting killing of cats and dogs on your radio stations? He said absolutely not. And then he was asked, but would you allow for music that is promoting the killing of black people on your station? And he said it depends on who is singing it. You know, and so we have to look at even ownership, right? So we have these rappers in America and they're signed to these labels that are owned by not us, right? And the type of music get pushed into our communities, onto our the platforms that our children are listening to and have easy access to in commercials, in movies and stuff like that.
Yes.
And we are saying that why is it that it is important for these labels to be pushing this type of music? But you have other music, other artists who are singing really conscious good songs that are not getting that push.
Yes.
Right? But the support for it, the budget that is put behind these music, right? And none of these profits come back into the black and brown communities. And so we have to take a stand to say, hey, you know what? We are not going to accept this anymore. But sometimes we are afraid to raise our hands. You know, we are still bugged by that fear to say, hey, we do not support this. You know?
Well, one of the things, go on, listen, finish your point.
Continue.
The point which you mentioned when you wave your hands and say, it's me, you know, okay, let's put our hands up and just stop this. But it's like, and Bockarie, you'll see this as well, and you can understand to a certain point. People are so constrained by their circumstances, constrained by their finances. People are so worried about many different things that they will not rise up, and also because maybe they do not have that support. So therefore, everybody will say, "Yeah, let's do that. Let's do this. Let's get there." And when you go, you see everybody you're alone. And then at the same time, you're worried about your jobs, you're worried about your children, you're worried about your family. Then all of a sudden you wonder why where's that person? Why are they so silent? Or the government give them some very high position whereby they're now constrained. And that division is happening. And just like how you mentioned earlier, some of the same music also with the negative connotations is now being exported to Africa, because Africans or some of the children are looking up to Americans as you are from the land of milk and honey, and therefore you know something more than we know. And therefore, the point what IC3 said is this: there's got to be a level of consciousness that we've got to be martyrs for the cause. I would say martyrs for the cause, whereby you have got to put your foot down. Bockarie, yeah.
No, I agree with you said. That's the
Mm.
solution right there. And that's why I said so many of us, we celebrate and we praise our ancestors, like the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the Honorable Mosiah Marcus Garvey. You know what I'm saying? We should do that. I'm not saying we shouldn't. However, what are we going to do?
Yes.
And that's the reason why I said that it starts at home. It's our colonized mindset, man.
Yeah.
We have lost the sense of self accountability. We excuse me, not lost, but been cut off rather. I have to correct myself from, because we didn't lose anything. You can't misplace that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we've been cut off from that self accountability, man. And somebody has to be bold enough to do it. You know what I'm saying? And let the truth be told, we have to be willing to sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that's what some people are not willing to do. You know why? Because like what you said, they're doing all this talking, but when it's time to put in that work, I'm gonna be by myself.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? That's why it's important to surround yourself with sincere individuals, because only sincere people is going to say the stuff that we're saying, like right now.
Yes.
And this is the reason why
and publicly as well.
Exactly. And this is the reason why being self-sufficient is so important. You understand what I'm saying? If put it like this, I'm a life insurance advisor. If they kick me, if they take my license because of what I'm saying, then guess what that means? That means that they're really not about liberty and justice for all.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So any even African person that look like us, when they sever themselves from you,
yes,
it's because they're afraid. And this is the reason why the enemy conquers a lot of us, because of fear. Shaka Zulu wasn't afraid. Thomas Sankara wasn't afraid. The Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey and Assata Shakur and Angela Davis. Assata Shakur, Angela Davis. So we have to honor our queen, Betty Shabazz, Coretta Scott King. You had women on Bloody Sunday that was on the bridge getting beat up with billy clubs for us to be free. You had ancestors literally getting pushed in wheelchairs. You understand? Yeah. And we're well-able bodies, and we should be ashamed that we had ancestors out there in the civil rights marches being pushed in wheelchairs to fight for us today. It's a lot of talk. It's a lot of shook elders that won't fight for their grandchildren. And if it wasn't for our ancestors seeing us in the present that we are in today, we would not have the liberties that we do have. So what I say is, why aren't you fighting? Do you love your family enough? Are you really truly sincere about their freedom? Are you truly sincere? Because I'm not just talking. I teach my children. I teach my grandchildren. And I'm on here now talking to you. So what are you going to do about it? And until we as a parents come against these school boards until we come together and say we're missing work today and we're going up here right now and we're going to tell them get that curriculum out of our children's books.
Yep.
Yes.
Get our history inside of our classrooms. That's what we need to do. And Bockarie can't do it, but I'm no fool. I know what is one drop of water. It'll never fill a bucket.
Yeah.
No.
So in order for us to accomplish anything, it takes more than just one person. You understand? And civil rights movements show that. The Black Panther Party shows that. The UNIA shows that. The Fruit of Islam shows that. How many examples do we need?
And
Toussaint Louverture, didn't he go put in work? I mean, even the Maroons came together in Jamaica, right? So we got all type of examples of the fact that you will not get freedom if you don't fight. That's just the bottom line. People that need to understand. The Honorable Dr. Martin, I promise you'll get ready to end. But the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he fought. Just because he didn't pull out a gun, just because they didn't shoot with a tank, just because they didn't have planes, don't mean that they didn't fight. Our ancestors fought.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm gonna leave it there, man.
You know, it's very important what you just said right there, and you said it earlier that alone you can sprint, but to a local point and then you burst and you pant and you die. But if you travel in groups and you go together, you can go very far. And I believe that it is very crucial at this time for the people, the nations come together. And we were wanting to touch on something regarding even in Jamaica, regarding the Constitution. And one of the things that we are seeing, Bockarie and even Lester, we are seeing so many divisions at this time. And the divisions are not very productive. It is like there need to be somewhat of a groundswell that can capture the imagination, capture the ideology of our people, to show that there's a bigger thing ahead. There's a bigger issue ahead, whereby we need to come together as a strong force instead of seeing and being divided by forces which are not beyond our control. They're not beyond our control. They are within our control. Lester, they're within our control.
Yes. All right. You know, I've always said this. We don't have to sit down and come up with something new or some very complex strategy. We can look at what the white society have done and do the same thing. We can do the same thing, you know. Just copy what they're doing, but doing amongst ourselves. Just amongst ourselves. Look, like, okay, what one of the things that destroyed the Black community is that when we have when the Civil Rights Bill and Jim Crow was quote unquote done away with, we ran to the white community to buy property to live there. We ran to the white communities to go put our kids in schools because we would say, oh, these Ivy League schools or these white colleges or stuff like that, right? So even though we fight for inclusion, what we did was abandon our facilities. Because when you look at the HBCs in America, right, a lot of them are not properly funded. Right? There are enough Black people in America that can help the HBCs to be properly, fully funded. Enough of them, right? The thing is that our community don't spend the money in our community, right? It spends like a few hours or maybe a day or two in our own community. When you look at the other races, they keep their money in their community longer before it leaves their community. Right, so we have to understand also the economics of our community, because you see, we don't understand what money is. We think that money, the fiat product, is just a spend, and we don't understand that. Listen, if we don't have money in our community cannot grow.
Mm.
We need to understand the equity in our own community. And this is where information and education comes in again, right? Because a lot of time people think that, oh, we go to Harvard, right? A degree is a degree, you know.
Mm.
If you get a master's at Harvard, you get a master's at Howard University, you know, it's a degree nonetheless, right? We have to accept and understand that, listen, we're going to create our own opportunities, we're going to create our own systems, we're going to create our own jobs, but it doesn't have to be something new and complex.
Mm.
White people collaborate together. They don't have to like, a lot of them don't like each other, but they are willing to collaborate with each other, right? And to build each other. I've seen Chinese do that.
Mm.
In Jamaica, I see Chinese people go and buy from another Chinese person that they don't like. But guess what? The money is sticking to the Chinese community,
Keep it within their community.
in the
Mm.
community, as long as possible. You know, and if we don't like another black person, right? The first thing we do, we label him as an enemy, as an ops,
Mm.
right? We're not doing this, we're not doing that. And this is the thing, right? I've seen over the last like 10 years, that's the rappers alone in America, the rappers are eliminating each other. They're killing each other over a word or a slang or a phrase or a diss, or you know, the rock and roll community don't get along.
Mm.
The rock and roll community don't get along. The country and western community don't get along, but they're not killing each other. And they say very nasty things about each other to the rock and roll community. But
Mm.
we take it to the streets. We take it to look at South Chicago, right? Look at LA. We take these things and we eliminate, and we don't think about what is that mother going through? What is that mother going through? We
It
don't
it
think of that.
yeah.
And
Um,
it's very sad because
mm.
it that's the cost of a funeral alone in the US, you know? That's the cost of a, because day-to-day living is expensive. Imagine you add a funeral cost to that.
Mm.
So imagine it, and then Bockarie spoke about life insurance. Many of these street guys or many of these rappers, if they were smart, they would take out life insurance because of the dangerous lifestyle that they're living. If they were smart, take out
Mm.
life insurance. That means that the burden of finance is not left on your poor mother, right? Who may
Yeah.
have two other kids to take care of to cover your funeral expenses. Sometimes these funeral expenses, you're paying them for years to come.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that. What are we going to do? This guy, he said something bad about me. Okay, but let's keep it on wax. Let's
Yes.
keep it on wax. You know, but
You
but
know,
but, but we,
yeah.
we we are eliminating our strength. We're eliminating our own army. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's you mentioned something a while ago, and Bakari, I bring you into this as well. It's Chicago, for argument's sake. Chicago has been a state or city or so whereby there's blacks killing blacks, you know, and what's that? What is the mind, isn't it? I think I'm answering it myself right there. You know, what's killing? What's killing? I don't know why I answered this question myself, but it's more than it's more than just that. It how can the action then be in effect then to create this? What is needed? Bakari? I mean, we say these things and we know these things, but
No, it's okay. I actually
yeah,
lived that life, so I actually appreciate you directing that question for me
yeah,
because you know what our Jamaican brothers and sisters would say, a gunman, you know,
yeah,
or a rude boy, right?
bad boy.
You know what I'm saying? So you know, I was out there, man,
Mm,
and it was brainwashing. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? And I say that because when you listen to these songs, people don't understand that there's a vibration, there is a frequency on music, and some people say, well, I don't feel like going to kill nobody. Here's the thing, which you're not paying attention to.
mm,
Why are you listening to it then if you don't support that lifestyle?
mm.
Hmm? Why are because see, you need to understand, when you listen to these songs, they get money for when you play these songs.
Yes.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about even on the radio, you know, before social media even came out. These guys, you know what I'm saying, people in the entertainment business get paid for these songs being played. You know what I'm saying? So you are supporting them by listening to it. And then, God, you think about it. If you don't support, like me, I don't support it, and I don't listen to it. Why would I want to listen to, you know, the 10 crack commandments when Biggie was breaking down, teaching people how to be a good drug dealer? So if you don't support that life, then why are you listening to it and why are you buying the music?
Yep.
Right. So this is what some people they don't feel any type of conviction. Well, I'm not doing it, but you're helping to further, you know, fund these guys to do more concerts and to continue to go around the world because you're giving the business money for them to be able to do this. You know, so what we have to understand is that it is a weapon of mass destruction. It is a weapon that's used to help us to self-destruct. I will continue to fight against gangster rap. I will continue to not support what they're talking about. And let the truth be told, a lot of radio broadcasters are sellouts. And the reason why I say this is because in one breath, they have a positive rapper come on. And as soon as that other positive rapper go off, they got a gangster rapper come on. So that lets you know they're just about money. They're just about ratings. They'll sit up there and talk about, oh, we need to come together as a community. But then you got an actual blood or a Crip on your platform that's a rapper.
Or a BG.
Talking about killing and robbing and stealing, and then you praising them. Oh man, yo, I like that. I like that song. That song was hot. But then you just start talking about, oh, this sad that Nipsey Hussle just got killed. Yeah, but or King's right after they say that, they play a gangster rap song. It's an oxymoron. It's contradictory. So we have to get broken out of it because you know what they do? They monetize on our pain. They make a fortune off of our misfortune. They come to the community with these contracts, knowing that our people are hungry and starving and broke, and they're desperate. Oh, just sign this contract. Oh, just talk about guns and killing. Why? Because they have exchanged the robes for putting our people on the front line killing. Oh, we ain't got to do nothing to them. Because they killing themselves. Why do they have to come into our community with hoods and crosses and burning them anymore and lynching us anymore when we're doing it for ourselves? We're committing suicide.
Yes.
And until we stop compromising and saying, okay, we're going to get our own radio stations. We got big enough followings. These jokers got millions of followers. You got enough followers to go start your own radio station or to start your own social media channel. They already following you. They already support you. And let the truth be told, I got to be honest. A lot of these hip hop artists don't want to take responsibility. They don't. And you know what they'll say? The same one who don't want to take responsibility. Oh, I'm not the reason why they did this and they did that. But then the same MC will say a rapper before them influenced them. So you know that is influential because you just said in another interview, oh, you know what? It was Nas that influenced me. Oh, you know, it was Tupac. Oh, it was Big L. Oh, it was, come on, man.
But it seems like there's not a sort of groundswell that there's a problem then, Bockarie. There seems not to be a groundswell that there's a problem, and it's the reason why it is just perpetrating and it's just continuing.
Brother Silborn, let me address this person out here that's talking about this reparations, because obviously you're not hearing what I'm saying. Now, I held my peace long enough.
Yeah.
Obviously you haven't heard nothing I said. I just said that we need to stop succumbing to these things and start building our own. So what part about that didn't you understand?
Yes. Yeah, we did address that.
No disrespect. I just got to keep it real. because they keep talking about problem solution. We done gave so many solutions till it's not even funny. So I'm kind of questioning, are you listening to what we saying? Okay. We done said that we need to get in political power. We done said that we need to stop allowing them to take control of our resources. We need to take control and we need to fight and rebel. What else do you need to hear?
And we also said that when you have education, it's not just education, but you need to also put some leg to it, some action at the same time, and to somewhat mobilize the leadership, if anything. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all of them did their bit, and I mentioned that somehow we've got to be martyr for the cause.
Yeah, but, and see, that's what I was saying too, about how we needed to stop allowing them to use us as puppets.
Yeah.
You understand? That is a solution. Stop allowing them to use us as puppets.
Yes.
That's a solution. And for us to have confidence, to get our confidence back by us teaching our spirituality, okay? And brother, no disrespect to you. I know, I understand. I'm just keeping it real, and to return back to our spiritual, systems that connect us to who and what we are, you know what I'm saying? And to get their way of life out of our life. It's very evident that their way of life does not work for us.
Yes.
Nope.
How can it work for us? It don't make any sense.
Nope.
They gave us their language. They gave us their religion. They gave us their deities to and you know what trips me out? These people pray to the saints. That's their ancestors. But when we do it, it's a problem. They have Memorial Day. They honor their heroes. But when we start talking about, thank goodness for the Black Panther Party who fought for our liberation, oh, they're extremists.
Yes.
You see, so it's like a bullying you, and then when you punch them in the eye, they talking about why did you hit me? And whenever we pull the cover off of the races, they always have a problem with us.
Yeah. And also
I gotta say it though, does the black person, the so-called black man and black woman that has been brainwashed and that just want to continue to stay on their side and don't want to make them mad so they won't lose their job. And see, this is the reason why I'm saying this. If you're afraid to say something and you think that these Caucasian people are going to turn their back on you, you know what that should tell you? That they're racist. And I'm gonna leave it there.
But still, you see, I am weary of persons asking about reparations, because I'm saying, as the good brother said, these persons held us in captivity for 500 years.
Yes.
Right? Why are you putting just a dollar figure on our pain, on our past trauma? Right? Because what community, when you get this money, just say every black person, just use America, right? You have over 44 million black people in America.
Yeah.
If you give each of them, just say for instance, $10 million, they are going to take that money and go right back to the white community and spend it. That's what they're going to do, right? Because they're going to buy they're going to buy homes in white neighborhoods. They're going to buy Mercedes Benz. The money is going to go right back. Right? They're not going to say, oh, you know what? Let me build a building at HBC. Let me develop a community center in my area. Let me invest into the communities that I am from. No, they're not going to do that, right? So our own people keep asking about this reparation, and we're saying, listen, let us educate our family first. Let us teach our daughters and sons about finance. What money is really. It's not just to spend. There are different forms of money and stuff like that, right? What is the importance of health insurance? What is the importance of being healthy also? Not just health insurance, but being healthy. What's the importance of having rest and meditation? What's the importance of saying to your son, as a father to a son, I love you.
Mm.
These are some of the things that as many black men have never heard from a black man.
Yes.
So when a gang leader hugs him and say, I love you, I got your back. When a gang leader, and I've seen it myself,
Mm.
there's a lot of things that Silver, I said, Silver, you and I have to have one of these one-on-one one of these days for me to tell you
Mm.
about, my upbringing. I've
Mm.
seen young leaders take young men who were not violent, but they didn't have any guidance, and
Mm.
turn these guys into the most notorious killers. I've seen it. I have friends like that. And if he says to this man, like one guy said to me, the first time I held 100,000 Jamaican dollars, it was that man, not my
Mm.
father, not my uncle, not a pastor, not a politician, that gangster,
Mm.
that Don. I will kill anybody for him.
Mm.
Any anybody. That means child, woman,
Mm.
priest, whatever. No, no. Imagine you have 100,000 young men under that type of mind control.
Mm.
So we as men in our communities have to start loving our neighbors' children. We have to start
Mm.
loving our own children. We have to start to say, hey, let us not use the B word to call our baby mamas or our wives
Yeah.
or sisters, or you know.
Mhm.
Let us be respectful. Let us train our young men to say, hey, this woman is
Mm.
not just for your sexual pleasure. This is a daughter of somebody. This is a sister of somebody, right? See the value in her also. Tell this young sister that, hey, you don't have to be a hoe. See
Yeah.
the value in yourself. The most important part of your body is here as a woman. You know, young people are not hearing these things.
Yeah.
They are not hearing these things. So it is very important for us to stop just wanting reparations, because what are we going to do with this money?
Mm.
What are we going to do with this money?
Yes,
You know,
man.
one of the things I said, and somebody sent me a video today about the Rothschild and these guys who are controlling things, and I said, the more you keep sending these things, and the more you keep talking about it, we could have used that opportunity and to build something together, you know, and work together and strategize together. Because I believe that the more we, as you rightly say, the more we seek that handout, the more we seek help, the more we want massa to be our help, we miss out on something. Is like we have given them an extra psychological power over us. And yet at the same time, we have been created with a mindset of power. Hence the reason why they try to divide us. Hence the reason why the Willie Lynch factor. Hence the reason why they, they always say the worst thing you can do is getting black people together. The worst thing you can do is get them together, because when they come together, they'll be very powerful. So the solutions are there. There's no doubt about the solutions. We talk about the solutions, and I believe that the
I don't
mindset.
know, man. We got a person don't think that we have when
Well,
we've
well,
given it. It has
well,
been
well,
much
well.
information.
Yeah, well, the solutions are there,
That
and
brother we give it information
it,
to.
it has to start from somewhere, and it has to
Exactly.
start with the mindset. And I believe, Lester, I know we it is good that this program deviated from some of the topical things of society, but it's actually going into the roots. And once we tap into the roots, then
Mhm.
we come with the identity factor. And once we know the identity, then we can build ourselves. And if it takes two or three to start the process, well, that's how it works, you know. And as
Thank you.
and as
You
Bockarie, as you said it there, and you come on tonight, let's hope that MC Ice Tree Black might get it, and for the persons might get it as well, and we spread it. Because yes, we are going to talk about the constitution but hey, that's not what it is about tonight. This is about solutions for us as a people getting stronger and build ourselves together. And I'm also not a person who will chant down Babylon one more time seeking reparation. I'm not going to march down the street seeking any reparation. I'll march with Bockarie and I'll march with Leicester and say, let us see if we can work together and maybe sell ice cream. Maybe we sell ice cream at the march and make some money at the march.
Well, the gentleman, the reparations person out there for that channel, I believe that we try to make things complicated.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And the bottom line is, before we can come together, we have to deal with our mindset. Yes. You can't put the cart before the horse.
Yes.
So we're trying to galvanize people, but yet we don't have a mindset, you know what I'm saying, to come together. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So he made that, they're making a good point, but we actually have hit on those points. I mean, honestly, we're getting kind of redundant about it. I'm just trying to be straight up about the situation, because the reality is it starts in the mind.
Yep.
And until we are decolonized in our mind,
yes,
you know what I'm saying, none of these things that we're talking about is ever going to happen, because first we have to get that out of our mind. It's just like being our ancestors who was on the plantations. They actually outnumbered the enemy. But because the enemy put fear in our ancestors, they would never rise up, because they always thought that the enemy was more powerful than them.
And there were no walls.
Actuality,
there were no walls either.
We were more powerful than them. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why I love using Shaka Zulu, and I love losing Toussaint Louverture, and I love using Thomas Sankara, who renamed Burkina Faso, because it was actually called Upper Volta before it was called Burkina Faso. And they're the ones, Thomas Sankara was the one who fought the French and pushed them out of the country. You see what I'm saying? So when the brother said, what's the solution? Is fighting. I mean, how in the world are we ever going to win? How in the world are we ever going to get there if we never fight for our rights? You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, I had to go to court to get my name legally changed. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to literally go there, you know what I'm saying, and go through the process for my name to get changed. That is a right that I have. You understand what I'm saying? But why don't we do that? It's because I have literally heard a woman tell her child, you know what I'm saying? Well, excuse me, say that she told her child, rather, that no, I can't give you this type of name, because if they hear that name, they're not going to want to hire you. You understand? So when we take control, it's more to it than just economics, because money is a part of it, but it's also our identity. It's our identity. We don't even listen, people that come from Africa, that come to America, do you know that they have to take on a European name?
Yep.
They have to take on a European name. Think about that. If you want to come over here, so if this truly is the land of the free, why aren't you free to be yourself then? Why did we just get the Crown Act in 2023 to be passed for us to have our own natural hair? So when the person asks for the reparations nation about what's the solution is rebelling. The solution is to fight for our rights, to be us, to be ourselves. The solution is us coming together and saying no more.
No more, Jose. No more.
Until we stop being ashamed of ourselves,
yes,
we're going to continue to fight. I'm telling you right now, I promise you, until Africans in America and throughout the diaspora stop self-destructing, we're going to continue to be in the dilapidated state that we're in, until we as elders in our community stand up and say, I'm not tolerating this anymore. I'm going to check my child's curriculum at this school, and I'm going to ensure that there is, listen, we lack confidence because we don't know our
Yes.
accomplishments.
Yes.
There's inventions that we have invented that we don't know, and we know the reason why we don't know it. So I don't blame us for not knowing it. Our enemy cut us off from this information. But guess what? Now we're in the information age. Now we have access to these things. So what's stopping us? You may say, oh, they weren't allowed to be taught in school. Again, it has to start at home. So Bockarie Jombor, we're in with this. Parents, elders, and the families, you need to get back to your roots, and you need to stop depending on someone else to teach you about yourself and to learn from yourself, like teachers that we have who write books.
Yes.
Like Dr. John Henry Clark, like Ashra Kwesi. You understand?
Yep.
Our particular scholars, Anthony Browder.
Yep. Okay.
From our actual scholars who have our best interests at heart. So earlier the question was asked, there go the solution. And also, black folks, stop looking for a handout so much from another black person.
Yeah.
You know, something I want to say this quickly before I forget. Can you hear me? I want to say this quickly before I forget.
Please.
Let's do a show, and Bockarie, I want you to come on. All the inventions that have been hidden, and let's talk about them. Okay. All the inventions. Let's do a show on all the inventions black people have done. Even some of the cars, and just start to just list them.
Like escalator, things like that. A lot of people.
The gas mask.
Yeah, and
the street lights. Ironing board.
Yeah, but also, you see, when exactly when we look at even Portugal and Spain and many European countries that were living, when white persons there were living like animals, and it was we who went there to say, how can you be sleeping in the same place that your animals are? You know, we brought them hygiene, and we told them that you can brush your teeth, and you know how to bathe, and you know use fragrances and stuff like that. These are some of the things that we brought to Europe, and to say, hey, not only that, you know, transatlantic travel has been going on way before Columbus.
Yes.
Right? The evidence is there when you look at some of the structures that are in Central America and even North America and the Caribbean, all these places, right? These structures were built by Africans who traveled from Africa, come across. Yeah. So it's the transatlantic travel didn't start with Columbus. So these are some of the, that means that we were building ships that could sail hundreds of miles. So people understand that also.
Well, definitely, and we wrap up now, and yes, so we still have time. We'll do a next show, make up a show regarding the referendum, because I just got something from Joseph Patterson a while ago, regarding the referendum. Something also from Mark Golding. So there's lots of things happening, but I really want to do a show on inventions, black inventions. And this is about stimulating the mindset. This is about empowering us to show that, hey, there's greatness there, because, you know, a lot of people are lack of information, as you say, Lester, lack of knowledge. And therefore, we've got to bring that knowledge, and we got to do it as much as we possibly can. And Amani Jombor said Columbus didn't discover anything. I think they discovered Columbus, actually. He was shocked when he was discovered.
But Silver, one of the things, you know, one of the things is that Bockarie said it. In this day and age, if you are ignorant, it is a choice.
Oh, yeah, it's a choice now. Yeah, because there's so much things. There's so much things to our disposal. So much things.
When we were younger, all three of us, when we were younger, if we wanted a piece of information, we had to go to a building. We had to take a bus.
We had to go to a library.
Now we have it's in our hand.
You can lie down like this with your little phone in your hand.
Right? I remember at high school doing projects. I'm in the library as early as 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and I'm not leaving until 5 because I have all these resource books and I have right hand.
Lester, a
Right?
girl I look Lester, a girl I
Now
look at
we have a thing called
a girl I look Lester at the library.
the fringe benefits.
You men going to the library say you're studying.
Silver
Yeah.
You brought up a good point about the girls. We had to have game. We had to add intellect and conversation to converse with women at the time, because if you were dumb, no girl would want to talk to you.
Yeah, true.
So you had to have the information, the gift of gap, talk and present yourself like a man, you know, and to be assertive and to know what you're talking about, and you know, but like it's all different now.
Yes.
But it is upon us to pass down this knowledge, to say, hey, this is how you dress, you know. Like I said to my son is 24. I said, listen, you have to have a black suit and a brown suit. You have to have these things. How you present yourself is how people are going to treat you. You could be the smartest person, but if you look like a thug or a criminal, that's how you're going to be treated. It's not fair. Life is not fair. But do not give yourself a disadvantage.
Yes.
Don't give yourself a disadvantage, right? Because if you know that if you dress a particular way, you're going to be treated or seen like that, don't do it.
Yes.
Don't do it.
All right. Okay. Well, Amani Jombor said true. Yes. Well, listen, guys, I want to thank you so much for this empowering and solution-oriented discussion, right? IC3, solution-oriented discussion. That's one of the things which is my pet peeve, solutions. And if one cannot find the solutions, go up on your phone and lie down there. If you have to lie down on your bed, same way, and search Google, you can find everything at your disposal. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, chat GPT, or what do we call it?
Yeah, chat GPT is the newest. It's amazing.
Yeah, there's so much things now, you know, and we got to use it to our advantage. Don't let it use us. We've got to use it as much as possible. All right.
Yep.
Well, Bockarie, listen, my Jamaican brethren, straight out of yard. What should we make you? Honorary Montegonian? Is it Bockarie? You and your wife? Honorary Montegonian? Is that it? Yeah? All right. Well, listen, all the best, and thank you so much for coming on. All right? All right? And listen,
you're welcome, my brother. Thank you for having me.
No problem, buddy. All right.
Big up, Bockarie. Big up.
Big up, man.
Big up. Original Jamaican.
All right.
All right, take care of yourself. And as I said, make sure we got to think about, we got to do a show at maybe within a couple of weeks time about inventions, and we're bringing those cars as well, the same type of cars as well. All right. Peace out. Thank you, guys. Cheers. Bye. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight, and it was a very interesting and very empowering show. And just before I go, I just want to make a reference to Stephen Lawrence, who passed away a few years ago. And there is Stephen Lawrence. I was just reminding myself that when Stephen Lawrence passed away, that was less than a year after I came to the UK. And I posted something earlier today. I hope I can actually find it. Stephen Lawrence was killed in 2003. Sorry, I came in 1992. Sorry, 1993 by some crazy guys, racist guys. And if I can actually find the conversation which I had there, I just want to read it because it's very important. Let me see if I can find it. 1, 2, 3. Lawrence. Yeah, found it here. In memory of what should not happen again and for justice to reign, Stephen Lawrence was born. Um, I just turn this off here. Stephen Lawrence was born on Friday, the 13th September 1974. Family and friends describe him as an intelligent, energetic, cheeky, and adventurous child. By the age of 18, Stephen was studying for A levels with aspirations to become an architect. On Thursday, the 22nd of April, 1993, Stephen and his friend Dwayne Brooks um, were waiting for a bus in South London, which is not so far from me, just around the corner from me, when a group of white youths surrounded Stephen in a sudden, brutal, unprovoked attack, followed by a vicious stabbing. Stephen was later pronounced dead on arrival um, um, at the hospital with two 5-inch deep stab wounds to his arm and chest. Dwayne was originally questioned by the police as a perpetrator. I know Dwayne very well. Police eventually began a surveillance operation on the prime suspects in this case. And made a number of arrests, but the Crown Prosecution Service later discontinued the prosecution, citing insufficient evidence. It is important to note that the police also launched covert surveillance of the Lawrence family. Frustrated by lack of action in the case, the Lawrence family launched a private prosecution, and magistrate agreed that a trial should go ahead based on new evidence. Neil Court, Luke Knight, and Gary Dobson stood trial, but the judge instructs the jury to find the defendants not guilty. 4 years after his death, the coroner's inquest was reopened and found that Stephen Lawrence was unlawfully killed by 5 youths in an unprovoked racist attack. The Police Complaints Authority found significant witnesses, omissions, and lost opportunities in the investigation, but no evidence of racism. It goes on further, and in the word of Dwayne Brooks says of his friend killing, why him? You have some friends who are amazing and others not so much. He was most definitely amazing. He wasn't violent, aggressive, or argumentative. We used to sleep head to toe, play video games all night, and watch kung fu films. Few people knew him as a friend more than me. Nobody could say he was into criminal activity or anything negative, ever. That's why I vowed nothing would be done to damage his name. The police on the night tried to tell me it wasn't a racist attack, but I told them they shouted at us Niggers. Footnote, this is me. And this happened under a year since I arrived in the UK. And I remembered it very well. And why I remembered it very well is because as well, my mother did call me from Jamaica and said, be very careful. Because I came to the UK August 1992. Stephen Lawrence got killed in 1993. And she said to me, be very careful because they're killing black men in the UK. I was just in my early 20s when I came to the UK. Ladies and gentlemen, my condolences again to the Lawrence family, and pray that justice ultimately reign, and for Miss Lawrence and Neville Lawrence and the family, Dwayne Brooks as well. Thank you so much for joining tonight, and all the best. And I wish you a good weekend. May God bless you, and may He keep you, may His face shine upon you, and give you great and beautiful peace. See you next week.